This is the rhythm of the night. Every night. This is the rhythm of the night. This is the rhythm. This is the rhythm. This is the rhythm. Oh, yeah. You're singing the remix.
Yeah. That's the only part I know. And then the guy starts singing in Spanish. He goes,
was that Spanish? I like that song. I don't even know who does it, but I like it.
I think it was like in the 80s. I don't want to do a sort of correction about that song. I don't want to try and guess. And then
that's probably for the best.
I got new headphones.
They look great.
They sound a little tinny.
Tinny?
A little, but I don't know if that just means clear. It sounds weird. I don't like it.
It's different. I mean, you switch headphones, you're going to hear sounds in the room that you don't normally hear.
Yeah. Your implication is that I can hear better.
Yeah, and I think that you're hearing some things that you didn't hear before.
And I don't like it.
Yeah, sometimes the room's just a little tinny. Maybe I'm very tinny and you never knew it until just now. Maybe you're tinny.
I don't even know what that means.
What's tinny? Both of our voices are tinny?
I guess. I just, it sounds hollow.
Oh.
Like, it sounds like background noise. I don't even know how to fucking describe it.
You're having the whole crisis over here.
Yeah, because it sounds like I am the room.
The room is me. I am the room.
Yeah, I am the room.
Do you want to switch back to your other headphones? Speaking of the room, this movie we just watched was pretty reminiscent of The Room.
Welcome
to Sorta Cinema. This week we covered Doc West.
The 2009 movie Spaghetti Western, Doc West.
We'll get into whether it's a spaghetti western or not. My name is Dalton James.
And I'm Dalton James.
With me, my co-host, Ryan Chu.
I'm never going to get it right. And I'm doing it out of spite at this point.
I know you are. I can tell because I can see the glimmer in your eyes. Yeah, this movie it was an Italian movie. Mm-hmm. It's for some reason on the internet, it says it was an Italian miniseries.
So what is... Because you were describing to me a little bit before.
Yeah.
What is a spaghetti western?
A spaghetti western is a term that is used for a lot of the westerns that came out in the 60s and 70s, even the 50s. It was cheaper to film in Italy. So they would take a bunch of American actors, an American crew, and they would film these westerns in Italy. And so they just started calling them spaghetti westerns. This movie is an American movie that is with Italian actors filmed in New Mexico.
Okay.
So it's a reverse spaghetti western. And I was trying to think of a word for it, and I've decided it's a Chef Boyardee western. It's canned. It's an American-Italian thing.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what else to call it, but I think it's a Chef Boyardee western.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's like because it's weird how it reversed, but this man, Terrence Hill, who plays the main character, Doc West in this movie, he is apparently a very storied career of Western movies. He's a very old actor.
I took a class in college about, it was like a film class, and we learned about just the history of film in general, and like some of the first movies, like feature-length movies in general, were westerns.
Yeah.
And my teacher talked about how westerns and how people were really into them in the past, and how your grandpa will sit and just watch westerns on TV Land.
My dad, yeah.
Yeah. That's what we'll be doing with Avengers movies.
Oh.
That we're going to be old watching Avengers movies.
And our kids won't understand.
Yeah. And they're like, why are you watching?
There's Black Widow. And that's the Iron Man. They're like, Dad, stop.
That's the Ant-Man.
You're the Ant-Man?
That's Peter Spider-Man.
I 100% can see that happening, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'll be on the couch just watching old Marvel movies.
It's who we are.
I know they're going to age. They're going to age weird. I know they're going to age weird.
Yeah. But so are we.
Like milk. Like powdered milk.
You were saying, I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent. You were saying about Terrence Hill.
No, he's been in a lot of Western movies. We watched this whole movie, and then we just found out about 10 minutes before recording that He's in his 70s in this movie.
He looks like he's in his 30s in the movie.
He's 84 now.
And this was released in 2009.
Yeah. So even let's say they filmed it in 2008, that still makes him in his late 60s.
Yeah.
He's old, and he looks pretty good.
He's got, like, he's 84 right now. Mm-hmm. He has 84 credits, or like something around like 80 on his filmography.
He's done so many movies.
That's like almost, it's basically, sorry.
That was freaky. Did you just do coke?
I got weird energy right now.
84 movies. I can do it. I can do 84 right now.
He's got like almost, well, because like I don't know if I'm completely. We just recorded our Sorta Corrections episode, and now I'm really careful about everything.
In your head.
Yeah.
It's okay. We have to have stuff for the bonus episode.
Okay, you're right. He's got about 80 movies, and he's about 80 years old, so that's almost. See, I'm using...
Are you going to say a movie a year?
Yeah, his entire life. He was discovered as a child by the Italian filmmaker Dino Risi at a swimming meet at the age of 12.
It's an Italian kid just swimming.
and some weird director at the pool is like, I want that one. And he became a child actor, appearing in Risi's Vacation with a Gangster in 1951 as Gianni, the orphan gang leader. He was quoted saying, they were looking for a boy gang leader, and they found me. So I assume something he was doing at that
drowning children in the pool.
And they're like, we like him.
Him.
Do me a favor. I'm going to put some fishes in this water. See if you can sleep with them.
I'm glad they found him. He's fantastic in this movie. Look, I'm going to temper expectations here. He's not fantastic in this movie.
He's good enough.
It's weird.
He's bizarre.
He's really weird. Let's just say it.
It's really hard to have an opinion because you want to be nice, and I feel like the impulse is to be like, he was so good in this movie, but then you like actually start to think about it, and you're like, no, what did we even watch?
It was very reminiscent of The Room, because there is dialogue that just steps on top of each other. I'm going to say 80% of this movie is overdubbed because a lot of the actors are Italian, but then there's a lot of American actors in here that are not overdubbed, but somehow they still do the same weird dialogue.
Yeah. I texted you and I was like, have you started the movie? And you were like, yeah. And you described it as imagine clowns doing a Western.
Yeah. It's like all rodeo clowns.
Yeah. I don't know. This guy, he's really popular in the Western world.
Yeah.
And I mean, he did movies in Germany. He did movies in France. He did movies in Italy. This is his movie in the U.S.
Yeah, but it was released in Italy.
It was?
So this movie was released as a miniseries. It's 3 hours long. We will not be doing the entire movie right now. It is released in the United States as a 2-part movie. It's a sequel. It's Doc West 1 and Doc West 2.
Yeah.
Unless you go into the IMDb, in which it is Doc West and then Triggerman. It's all very confusing.
Well, is there a Triggerman, though?
Triggerman is the name of Doc West Part 2.
Are you sure?
I'm from what I read, because there was all this speculation about Doc West 3, and then they're like, it's not coming because Terrence Hill doesn't want to do it.
Okay.
We'll
look into it, and if there is a part 3, we're gonna watch it.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, that's a good way to say, right now, this episode is about part 1.
This is about part 1.
Or the first half.
Yes.
We're doing a double feature today.
Double feature!
We're gonna watch the second one together, and we're going to record that episode right after this. So if you stay tuned for next week, you're going to get part 2.
Yeah, sort of sequels.
Whether you like it or not, or whether we like it or not.
I've heard tell that the second part is not as good as the first part, and the first part wasn't very good.
Oh, God.
So let's see what happens.
Right.
Play the movie in the background. We're jumping into Doc West.
As always. We found this one on Prime.
Yeah, if you want to watch it, it's on Prime.
I actually watched this. Was that an ad for the Wiggles?
It is currently.
Is there a Wiggles documentary that's coming out?
A Wiggles retrospective?
Holy shit.
Oh, wow. There's background footage.
Yeah. There's an Asian Wiggle? I have so many questions.
I could have been you.
I went to one of these concert things as a kid, the Wiggles Live. I was fucking pumped about it. But Anyway.
That's a different podcast.
Yeah.
We're watching that movie.
I watched this movie late last night. I started it at 1 a.m.
Oh, wow.
And I watched it in bed on my projector screen with my little notebook. So
You had the full experience.
I really went for it.
You went full cinema. I love it.
It's not just Sorta Cinema anymore.
You had a projector.
I did.
I love that.
I went full cinema. This isn't. We're not playing games here.
We're not playing games.
So it opens, and we meet our character, Doc West. He is at a bank.
Yeah.
And he has like a little daydream of this woman.
Mhm.
Her name's Estrella.
Estrella.
Oh,
What
Estrella.
did they say? Estrella.
Yeah, what about Estrella?
Yeah. This bothered me.
We learn later on, I don't think I'm spoiling anything that much, but that he had, this is basically his daughter that
Yeah.
he's kind of raised for the past however many years.
Mhm.
He's at the bank because he's going to be sending money to Estrella.
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 You gotta call her Estrella because that's how they refer to her. She's Estrella.
And
He's at the Santa Fe post office.
yeah.
And he's dropping off a wad of cash.
Mhm.
And all of the bills have a little red E
Mhm.
written on it with red pen. And the Santa Fe post office guy, the bank guy, he's like, oh, these are all marked with E's. I'm good at spotting fake money. And then Doc West says, it's not fake money. And then he goes, I know. Like, why'd you even bring it up?
Yeah, it's just like a weird little interaction, but he's there at the post office. There's a girl behind him who we learn more about later. But
Yeah. Which I didn't notice when I watched it, but then it's referenced later that she's standing behind him at the bank. And
Well, okay, so her character's Millie.
Millie.
And she comes up a lot.
Yep.
But a lot of the scenes that I've noticed that she's in, she kind of does nothing.
Yeah.
Because the movie wants to set her up for something later.
Yes.
But she kind of has to do nothing, so you're aware of her presence.
Yeah.
And I realize that happens in a lot of kind of bad movies that we watch.
Yeah.
Where there's like either some love interest that's going on or like some like other thing where characters will come into scenes, do nothing, and then leave.
Just so you know, you get
That
a
they
visual.
exist.
That
Yeah.
person exists in this universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she does come back and does some stuff. But
Yeah.
So after he drops the money off at the bank immediately gets robbed.
Yeah.
And two like bandits with face masks on. Desperados. They steal some money, they take off, and Doc West comes outside and his horse is being maintained.
Yeah, I think it's got new shoes.
It's got new shoes.
Yeah, it's like Isabel's mom and I Me When. Its shoes were 2 sizes too small, and
I guess maybe the horse, because they're new shoes, it can't gallop. So he goes to go chase after the robbers.
That's why.
Yeah. So he goes to chase after the bank robbers because he just dropped off all this money at the bank and all the money got stolen.
Yeah.
And the guy fixing the horse's shoes is like, no galloping,
Yeah.
because I guess it's like when you get a new car and like you got to break it in. I don't know how horses work.
Don't jump off the line with that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want to run out the tires.
Warm it up first. So he chases after these banditos. They get away.
Yeah. I was kind of wondering, because the reason why he chases after them is because it was like his money that they stole.
And the bank wasn't insured.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so when the money got stolen, it's gone. And he's dropping out. They don't tell you what at this point, but there's a purpose for this money.
Uh-huh.
And he does not want it to go missing.
Yeah.
So that's why he's like, I gotta chase these guys down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on his way to chase them down, he sees a kid in a ravine.
Yeah.
Who falls off his horse.
Yep.
And Doc is like, all right, I guess screw the money, screw the bank. Like, I'm going to help this kid.
Mhm.
There's a rattlesnake coming after the kid.
That he snipes the rattle off of
Uh-huh.
with his gun. He goes, and he shoots the rattle right off the snake, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's like at least 2 football fields away.
Yeah, and the kid's like, why didn't you just kill the snake? And he was like, I didn't want to kill the snake. I just wanted to basically give it a warning. I'm like, yeah, but that snake's going to die in the weeds now.
Then he's going to go tell his friends not to mess with little boys.
Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, but you just now made the snake suffer. So you kind of suck.
You're kind of a dick. Even though the movie makes you seem like you're a good guy because you're helping a kid.
No, you just wounded a snake. So thanks, Doc.
The kid's name is Silver. And they're best buddies. They become best buddies.
He dislocated his shoulder when he fell off the horse.
Yeah, and Doc is like, I want you to think about something that you love.
Yep.
And so the kid starts thinking about like this pie.
Yeah.
And Doc's like, what does the pie smell like? And he's like, it smells like burnt butter. And then Doc punches him in the shoulder.
Yeah.
And relocates his shoulder.
Yeah. Which you can do that.
Yeah.
But that kid's gonna have arthritis later. He's gonna be all messed up. Yeah, I dislocated my shoulder when I was a kid. Put it back in myself, and it's all screwed up now.
How are you supposed to do it?
You go to a doctor. You're supposed to have a doctor carefully put it back in.
Well, I don't want to put any spoilers in here, but he might be a doctor.
He's not a good doctor.
His name's Doc West.
Yeah,
He's the only doctor
Western.
they've got. It's the Wild West.
Wild West. Yeah, he's a doctor, but he's a reluctant doctor.
Yeah.
That we won't spoil right now.
Yeah.
But he's a reluctant doctor.
Well, because the kid asks, he's like, "Are you a doctor?" And he's like,
I'm just a man.
I'm just a man." He had to think about it, and
Yeah.
it was kind of a weird moment.
Yeah. So they pull up to this town because the kid says that he saw the two bank robbers.
Uh-huh.
And he said that they headed off to a town.
Holy sand.
Holy sand.
This is our holy sand. This is our unholy sand. This is our holy matrimony sand. This is our priestly sand. This is our devil sand. We don't like to go there.
You don't go on the devil's sand.
But welcome to holy sand.
Holy sand. They get to Holy Sand because this is where the kid thinks that the bank robbers may have gone. Mm-hmm. And they roll up on town, and there's a big pile of seeds that are being burned in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
And people arguing about it.
It seems almost like everybody in town is there. I was kind of confused as to what was going on in the scene. I think I started to get it a little bit later on, but there's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
There's a lot of accusations.
There are.
Some guy says, "He sets the siege at 3 times the cost. The land will be mine. Free man can buy whatever he wants and burn whatever he buys." And there's just like all this conjecture, all these words going back and forth. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
So from what I gathered from that scene, there are two families.
Yeah.
There are the Mitchells and the Bakers.
And the podcast listener, our fans might not know this, but your real last name, James, is your middle name.
James is my middle name that I use.
Your last name is Mitchell.
It is Mitchell.
So you could be a descendant.
I could be. Of the Mitchells? I hope not. They're the shitty family. I don't want to
I mean, they're both kind of shitty.
I think the Mitchells are shittier, though.
Yeah.
And I'll back up that point later. But so basically, Nathan Mitchell, the father.
He is, he raises cattle.
He does raise cattle, yeah. And there's this plot of land. And the Bakers and the Mitchells are arguing about this plot of land.
Because the Bakers want to use some of the water on that land to grow crops.
Yes.
For their baking.
Yeah, I think.
And
for something.
And the Mitchells need to use that water for cattle.
Yeah.
And I guess historically that land has always been like free use for everybody.
Yes.
But now the Mitchells are claiming ownership to that land.
Yes. So
who started it? I don't know.
Well, Nathan Mitchell is much more aggressive in this situation. And he went to the seed shop, bought all the seed that they were going to plant on the land for 3 times the market price.
Got it.
To get the seed salesman on his side, and then burned it in the street because it's just like, you're not planting anything on that land. That's my land.
Yeah, it's a public display.
Yeah.
Of like, I'm laying my big seed thing down on the table.
He's Monsanto.
Yeah,
he's like, you don't get that seed. So it gets broken up by a sheriff. His name's Sheriff Basehart. Is that his last name? Sheriff Basehart.
I have no idea.
He's my favorite actor in this movie.
Sheriff Basehart.
Sheriff Basehart. I like him. He's kind of got like he's the most old Western vibe actor in this, and I enjoy him.
Yeah.
And he breaks up the fight, and old Doc West, he goes to a local tavern.
Yeah. To like try to find out more about the town. He wants to find out where his money went and stuff.
Yeah.
And he asked the bartender for some iced tea,
which apparently you don't do that in the Old West.
No, she goes like, "What? Like iced tea?"
Yeah.
And then some guy turns around and goes, "Oh, you want iced tea? What are you, a sissy?"
He said that he heard that people that drink iced tea can't play cards.
Yeah, your daily chainsaw update.
Tea is not in. I want to do a daily chainsaw update on every episode. Yeah, he's drinking tea, and they don't really describe why, but he's drinking tea, and then he sits down to kind of swindle some poker players.
Yeah, the guy says, "Is it true a man who drinks tea can't hold cards?"
Yeah.
And then the guy who invites him to play cards with them proceeds to order like a big thing of tea,
a pitcher of tea
for everybody to drink. I'm guessing it's just kind of weird.
He's like, tea kind of sounds good right now. I could go for some tea.
I actually like that. And so they start playing, and Doc is kind of losing.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, like, I didn't know. I thought 2 aces would have beat 3 jacks. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
He's got a weird accent.
He has an Italian accent.
Yeah.
He sounds very Italian throughout the entire movie.
But I feel like I've just gotten to a point in this podcast where I can't every episode just be like, that guy has a weird accent. Now I'm going to do that accent.
It's not a weird accent. It is just out of place.
Yeah.
Because they don't say he's from Italy. He's just like this old Western cowboy, and he's also from Italy.
Am I racist to Italians because I said his accent was weird?
Weird in the context of the movie. If you think it's just generally weird, then it's a little rude.
Well, I figure an Italian accent, it's like a little bit more like Geppetto and Pinocchio.
Do it.
Now I don't want to do accents anymore. But yeah, so he kind of pretends, I guess, like he sucks at playing cards.
Yeah.
And then he's like on, his last dime or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, all right, like, why don't we go all in? And so they go all in, I guess.
Yeah.
All the money's on the table. And then he takes the cards and he starts doing all sorts of shuffling tricks.
It's so stupid. He's like breaking the deck and then like fanning it out, and he's doing that thing that kids do and they learn the first card trick where you take like one card and you kind of go like over the top of the other cards. Yeah. And it's like, it's all dumb. At one point they reverse the footage, which also just means that he's unshuffling the deck as he's shuffling it. It looks so weird. And he's staring forward the entire time. Like he's not even using his eyes.
He has time control powers. Oh. He has the ability to stop and reverse time. Okay. He's fucking Doc West.
He's Doc West, the time bending cowboy.
The time bandit.
Time bandit.
I'm gonna steal this time. He did this thing when he was pretending to suck, where he like pretended to shuffle the cards.
Yeah.
And all of them kind of shot
Yeah, he drops them everywhere.
And I was kind of thinking, like, did he just shove a couple of them in his sleeve?
Oh, maybe. Because
like,
he does cheat. He cheats.
He does cheat?
I think he cheats.
Well, because it's never confirmed. Because he wins the hand.
Yeah.
The very next hand. And then the other guy, what was his name that he's playing with?
Garvey.
Garvey was like, you cheated.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like a bunch of dudes in the bar who get up and they're like, yeah, you cheated.
Yeah.
They start pulling out their guns. They're ready to have a shootout.
Yeah.
And then the sheriff comes in and he's like, hey, like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And they're like, that guy's cheating. And then he's like, well, these 3 guys said that you're cheating.
Yeah.
You're coming with me.
Yeah.
I'm going to lock you up.
And then someone else speaks up in the middle of it, and he goes, look, Doc West says, look, 4 people think I was cheating. Like, which is so strange. Like, why are you doing that to yourself?
I don't know.
And the sheriff takes him to jail.
Yeah.
For cheating.